Okay, today's video is a very quick life update, which will make the videos that I'm going to post right after this video make a little bit more sense. As per the title, we are moving yet again. This move is nothing as dramatic as our move from South Africa to Canada. We're not leaving Canada. We're not even leaving Calgary. Actually, we're not even leaving the northwest quadrant of Calgary. We're simply moving out of the house that we're currently in into another house, and I decided to make a video to discuss the factors that led to this decision, because when I was looking at moving to Canada and I was watching videos about people who had moved, I watched a lot of like, what my house looks like video, or like house tour videos and that kind of stuff to get like a feel for what it's like living there. So I thought it might be helpful or just interesting to some people to hear some of the factors that have gone into our decision making. And obviously this is very personal to us as a family, but maybe some of it is useful or gives another family some ideas around their scenario, or if you're looking to move to Canada and you are kind of thinking what kind of house you want to live in or where in Calgary you want to live, maybe some of this information in the video is helpful for you. Or if you just know me and you're just curious as to what's going on in our life, then I hope that the information contained in today's video is somewhat interesting for you. Right, so we are moving to a different house. The reason for this, wait, no, let me back it up. We did not intend to move necessarily. So when we moved into this house, I need to provide this background because it's like part of the story. So we moved in before Ian was employed. If you watched any of my kind of videos around like the time that we just moved to Canada, we stayed in an Airbnb for 8 weeks, and then I was like very pregnant and we needed to find a place to live. This place was a really good deal in the sense that it was $2,300 all inclusive, as in all utilities were included. And this was very appealing to us given that Ian had not secured employment yet, because we were going into our first Canadian winter and we weren't sure how much utilities would like fluctuate, and a sense of stability was very important. Also at the time, $2,300 for a rent of a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, like big kitchen, big lounge, garage, backyard, pet friendly, all of that was a good price. Despite what loads of people will say, like loads of people are like, oh no, you overpaid, blah, blah, blah. Everything that I saw in terms of availability did not lead me to believe that we were overpaying. Actually, it felt like quite a deal compared to the rest of the places that we had viewed. Right. So I've done a video of this place empty, and my next video will be this place full before we move out and kind of what we've done to make this place home. When we then moved in here, the intention was to kind of save money by living here, even though like $2,300 is still like a big chunk of money. But we were kept saying to ourselves, you know, it's not perfect, but like, let's make it a home. Let's make it lovely to live here. And let's just really make the best of this scenario, which I really believe that we did do. But there are things that are not ideal about this place. There are not things are not ideal for any place really. But one of the kind of real frustrations about this place is that it's pretty far north. Okay, like I said, this is in the northwest of Calgary. Calgary is divided into 4 quadrants, typically where people live: northwest, northeast, southeast, southwest. And then downtown is like kind of like there in the middle, and the mountains are on the west. Our Airbnb was in the northwest, but much, much lower than what we are now. And now we are very high up northwest. Initially, this was not like such a big deal because Ian didn't have to commute to work very often, but the company changed their policy, I think, and he needs to go to the office twice a week. So he needs to travel to downtown twice a week. The commute to downtown from where we are is pretty long. So you can get to downtown from where we are by driving to the train station, and the closest train station is in Tuscany, which is like 15-20 minutes drive from here. And then you'll still take the train, which is another like half an hour or so, and then he'll still need to walk from the train station to the office. Or he can take the bus. He can take the bus like pretty close to our house, but then it has to like do loads of loops. Or we could, you know, drop him, or he drives to a closer bus station. But nonetheless, the commute is quite time consuming for him to do. And of course, you know, living in a country like Canada, you don't have domestic help. There's a lot that he then needs to do when he gets home in the evening, and we have a baby. So ideally for us, it would be much better if he had a shorter commute. So one of the real frustrations about living here is how north it is, mostly for Ian and his commute to work, and then a little bit for me. A little bit for me in the sense that I like to take Elba to go do activities with other moms and babies, and often it's quite a drive for me. Like, very seldomly is the activity that we're gonna go do like within 15 minutes of a drive for me. So most of the time, whatever activity I end up doing with her is like takes up the entire morning, if not longer. So I had this longing to not be so far from some of the activities that I wanted to do with her. Of course, I was looking into like, what can I do, especially in winter here up, you know, where we live, and starting to make connections where we live. So I had a plan for that. I wasn't like being helpless in that scenario. If we had continued to stay here, there were things that I was sort of working on to mean that I can go do activities with her that wouldn't take up such a large chunk of the day. All right, so you get the picture. The main issue or the main difficulty about living in this place, is how far north it is. There are some other minor frustrations, and I'll detail them more in the videos where I show like this place versus the new place, and some of the features that we have in the new place that we don't have here, and some of the things that we have here that's really nice that we won't have in the new place, but they were not substantial enough that we would consider moving for them. Even this commute story, we would not really have considered moving, except then a couple months ago, I don't know how many months ago now, our landlord contacted us about the general rise in prices. I think something to do with his mortgage, but you know, utility costs had gone up. Everybody's costs were going up, and to make it feasible, and he was really genuine about this, to make it feasible to keep this place, he asked, you know, if we'd be willing to pay more or to pay some of the utilities. We then agreed to a 10% increase as of October, which was fine. We didn't want to move. We really understood where he was coming from. He was being very genuine with like the difficulty of keeping this place. He has been a fantastic landlord. We wanted a water softener, and he, you know, negotiated with us and ended up paying for the water softener, and then we installed it onto the mains. We wanted a slightly newer stove. So he purchased a new stove for this place and then gave the other stove to the basement neighbor. So there were loads of times that we sort of wanted something, and he was always like so open and so accommodating, and it's just been like really great, you know, having him as a landlord. We were like, in terms of him being genuine, we were just like, that's fine, we'll pay an extra 10%. But with paying that extra 10%, suddenly everything that I said at the beginning of this video wasn't like as valid anymore. So what I mean by that is we were like, we're going to make this place a home because we kind of saved money by staying here. And at the time, it was a really good deal. So I couldn't really see comparable places to move to for that price in terms of the size we get, in terms of some of the other things we get. But now with the increase, I had started seeing comparable priced places that had more features of what we would like. Not many, because still, like, this wasn't an excessive increase, but a few kind of, I would say, gems were popping up. Now, if you know anything about the Calgary housing market at the moment, it is tough. Like, it's definitely a landlord's market, to put it that way. It's pretty hard to like secure a place. You got to be really fast, and you have to be a really like good applicant, like, because there's usually a couple of people who want something. So what was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I saw this place that was like super perfect. Like, we'd actually end up in total, I think, paying less than what we're paying now for, you know, still the Northwest, but much closer to downtown, much closer to the train station, a larger place, like a few more things included. It was just like perfect. I was so excited, and we were scheduled for a viewing. As we got in the car to go to the viewing, the person messaged to say they're moving ahead with someone else's application, so they're canceling our viewing. And it was pretty bummed, because now I got it in my mind, like, you know, this idea of moving. Because again, we weren't really going to move unless there's something worth moving for. Like, we put a lot of effort into this place. If you follow me on my other social media, like, we did a lot in terms of the garden. We've done a lot, like, we've painted it. We really try to make it a home for us and furnished according to this place to, like, use the space as best as possible. And also you get to, like, know a neighborhood, so you don't want to just, like, up and move. And moving itself, like, even if you're moving to, let's say, a cheaper place, the cost of moving, you have to factor that in. Not just, like, the effort it takes to move, but the actual, like, cost, like, of a U-Haul, or, like, the change in deposit that you need to pay, or the time that you need to spend, like, you know, filling up the holes because we had to anchor all the furniture to the walls, and what you need to then do in the new place to, like, make it yours again. Changing all of our paperwork, like our driver's license. So there are, like, monetary costs that comes with moving that you need to, like, decide. And of course, moving, we have, like, moved countries. We moved from an Airbnb. We had a baby. We had a lot of adjusting. So I wasn't, like, all that excited to add moving and the kind of admin and effort that goes along with moving unless it was really worth it. The place that we saw that we were going to go view, I really thought was worth it, and I got so excited, but it didn't work out. So I kind of went back to, like, no, let's just make this place work. Like, I don't want to, like I literally said to Ian, I don't want to be spending so much energy and time, like, looking for a place if we're not even, like, you know, like, that in itself is energy, like, looking through places and kind of thinking, like, oh, do we want to move? Do we not want to move? So I said to him, like, I'm going to stop looking. Like, if I happen to see something, fine, but I'm not going to actively look for something, because this place, yes, it's got some frustrations, but it's fine. It's nice for us to live here. And then for a while, I didn't really see anything that excited me. But then, what was it, like a week ago or so, I did see a place that I was like, okay, you know, this is not as perfect as the other one was. Probably building that one up in my mind so much now. But it's looking good in terms of the rent. It's even, like, closer to downtown than that other one was. And it's got some of the features that would be pretty nice to have. So we scheduled a viewing with them, and I knew that, you know, now we have to be really fast with that. So we scheduled a viewing and we went to go view the place. At the time, there were also other people viewing the place. We definitely knew that there was a demand for it, and we liked it. We liked it a lot. It's not perfect. I will show a tour of it. But it's definitely a place that we are willing to go through the effort of moving for, and really excited about the idea of living there. So the main thing is that it is further south than what we currently live, still in the northwest. It is the same size in terms of bedrooms and bathrooms, but all of them are larger. It also has more living spaces, which was something that I really desired, is to create a yes space for Elba. Now that she's crawling all over the place and wanting to play and explore, I really want to have a space that's just for her, that she can just explore freely, and there's no, like, no, don't touch that, it's not safe, it's not this, it's whatever. Like, she can just be, and this place has enough space for us to create that, which I'm very excited about. So I will show a tour of that before we move in. I'll do an empty house tour. But essentially, that's my big news, is that we're moving from this house to another house. And the big question is, when are we moving? What is today's date? Today is the 1st of November. We will take the keys of that place on the 15th of November, and we will move, because we then organized for there to be an overlap between this place and that place for the end of November. So we will move our stuff slowly across from the 15th of November. We gave our landlord notice for this place, and he has subsequently decided he's going to sell it. I think for a while he's been wanting to sell it, like when there was an increase in the cost and so forth, like he did kind of bring up that, you know, selling it looks like an appealing option. So with us moving out, I think it was kind of the final push to be like, yeah, I'm going to sell it. He lives in a different province of Canada. And I spoke to our basement neighbor yesterday, who's already secured somewhere else where he's going to stay. And he also said it was kind of a good thing that this came about, because he's been looking to possibly move as well. So it seems like all around it's going to work out. But I will admit, like, we went through so much of adapting and admin and doing things that I was really excited for just like some boring stability. So very excited and also a bit like nervous about adjusting to a new neighborhood and moving to a place with a baby. Never done that before. Last time we moved, I was pregnant. But nonetheless, we are going to tackle that in the next 2 to 3-ish, 4-ish weeks, and I will make a couple of videos to take you along with that journey and show you the places. And that concludes today's life update video. I'm sure there's other things to talk about with my life update, but the big thing is that we are moving. All right, I will see you in the next video where I'm going to show you everything that we did with this place before I start to officially pack it up.